Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So the Vampire King has arrived, and the new Vampire Queen that we see in this week's episode would definitely make a disgustingly powerful couple if her and Alucard were to work together, which would be pretty hype. But regardless of all that, we are looking at some weird stuff popping off in the show as per usual, and to think that a ghost vampire, like, everything exists in this world, which is also pretty interesting and cool, because it just goes to show that regardless of whatever happens, there's going to be a bunch of things we could actually see popping off in the grand scheme, just because uh, how everything starts to move forward. We don't know what the Vampire Queen is capable fully, but we do know she has taken the whole entire world of humans, elves, and something else. I can't remember the last one. Into a war with her just because she was the Vampire Queen and she pretty much pushed forward an attack or something along those lines, right? We didn't necessarily get how did she start the war, or did she even start the war? Was she just defending herself and they all got scared of her growing more powerful and they attacked her? We don't know, but what we do know is this vampire has been not seducing, but like, she's been creating a team of people that really just need something. They're really just there because of their own selfishness. In the case of the ghost, wanting to eat a whole bunch of good pudding, someone who wants a wish to be granted, and someone else who, I forgot her wish, or like what she wanted in return. But we know for a fact that that's why they're all here, or at least two of them anyway. And one of them has been just assisting the ghost, going from place to place, helping or not helping get the pudding that the ghost wants. But at the end of the day, this animation, this overall episode had some pretty amazing funny plots, and I feel pretty bad for our Mr. Lord after being, I don't know how he got eaten so fast. Like, man actually got bopped so quick when it came down to the pudding attack, including when she passes out from finding out the ingredients in her pudding that made it so good. So yeah, I don't know how he was taken so quickly and eaten, but oh, it must have been when she was making the pudding. Yeah, because I don't remember 3 puddings being there when our main princess drops down hers. I only remember the 2 being there, so that's pretty messed up. Supposedly he was eaten and he said goodbye to the whole entire cast, but then in the preview he's like, I'm back. So they're clearly gonna retcon some weird little thing that maybe she threw him up or something. I don't know, man. It's such a weird show. You can't really question it because the show itself is almost like questioning itself. It's like, oh, we'll just have him be eaten. But then the preview show around, we'll have him back. We don't even need to explain it till the next episode. Or even if they want to explain it in the next episode, they probably don't have to, right? So we'll see how that turns out. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of this show. Like I said before, it just does stuff and it works. Like, the plot is kind of non-existent when you're just traveling, doing whatever you feel like at the point of time when we're watching this. So I'm not even mad at it. It's just an interesting approach that not a lot of shows have done correctly, and not a lot of shows have done in general, where sure, you have given us the plot points, and you've given us where things should start to go sooner than later, but how soon it's going to get back on track is really on how many different characters they can introduce, how many different species they can teach us about. I mean, this vampire is probably a lot of people's favorite character just by the circumstance of what she's going through. If she steps out of her crystal, she becomes this tiny, short, little, like 5-year-old, 10-year-old girl. And when she was in the crystal, she was completely at her dominant form, her main form, where she released a ridiculous amount of her vampiric magic. So I'm interested in seeing what that was all about. Him carrying her and his eyes triggering was weird, unless I guess he was just doing that because he was in danger, she was in danger, and not knowing still how to fully just bring it out when he wants to. This was the only thing his body could think of to protect this one, queen, princess-like person. So it seems like whoever is a higher power, like a princess or a queen or something along those lines, those eyes really just go towards them. And it makes sense because that's what he was sent down for, is to help the princesses to, win this battle. He helps give them power and allow them to access to their power much quicker than them just powering up. I think actually it's not only access to their power, but they're also powered, like they get more power than they normally have. So that's still not explained as well, and that's what I'm talking about with the plot kind of being at a standstill. They don't need to go through all these hoops and loops to explain anything as of right now. As long as the show is entertaining, as long as there's characters people are enjoying. I mean, the people who first stole the girl's sword in the beginning of the show, we've learned quite a bit about them, but I don't think they're going to turn into these huge, grandiose characters that we're going to need at the end of the day to even win battles or even understand the story. But that's how they kind of treat them, right? They kind of treat them as if they have a much larger and grander role without really necessarily showing us if that's going to be true at the end of the day. So I am interested in that fact, but the other thing is, where is this plot going to go? Is this plot even going to get summed up in this one season, which I doubt, just by the way things are playing out. There's not much we know of the actual plans on the side of the girl who is observing them, and we don't know the plans of the girl who actually sent down our main character with the ability that he has after he had passed away. So there's a lot of things up in the air, and it's cool and all, but at the same time, hopefully they kind of start to talk more about it and give us a little bit more of an explanation as to where they could be going with all this. But if not, I'm guessing we're just gonna have to enjoy ourselves some interesting storylines, some new characters, and above all else, some pudding if the ghost girl ever shows back up. So yeah, I hope you guys are having a good one. I'm definitely trying to get these videos out quickly because I do have to be at work within an hour and a half, and I still want to shower and all that good stuff. So I do apologize if one of these videos are a lot shorter, or if they're both a lot shorter than I usually do. But to be fair, there wasn't much to talk about in this episode compared to the others, in my opinion. It was very straightforward, it was very weird, and it ended with not much telling us about the overall plot or changing anything in the grand scheme of, oh, now we're going to have, explanation as to why there's these shadows going out looking like people and possessing them. Like, there's nothing to go off of in this show, and it's hilarious because I'm still enjoying it. I'm still very invested in what's going on. Sure, there might be very tiny bits of stuff to maybe carry over from every episode, but even the main characters kind of brush off every day as just a day. Like, oh man, going to that beach was annoying, but at least that food was good. You know, they always bring up some lines to make sure that the audience knows it's all canon or it's not filler. I guess I don't even know. The show is clever. It doesn't even need a plot to be entertaining, so we'll see where they can go with this or how long it's going to last until we're just actually on a full course dive into just learning the plot and who is dangerous and who has good intentions. So, with all that being said, everybody, have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you sooner than later. So, with that being said, peace.